If God wanted you to know, explicitly know, that he's not a rooster, what kind of things would you expect him to write inside of his letter to you? You'd probably expect him to write things like, God is not a rooster, right? Now let's ask the question. If God is truly all-knowing, and he wanted you to know that he is not a man, and he foresaw the rise of Christianity, and he wanted to circumvent that, he wanted to make sure that you don't fall into the church, what kind of things would he write inside of his letter to you? What kind of things would he write inside of his Bible? You might expect to find things like, I am not a man. God is not a man, right? So the question is, does that actually appear inside of the Bible anywhere? Yesterday we explored Hosea chapter 11, and I really hope you opened up the Bible and you read it. While it's fresh in your mind, I want to draw your attention to verse 9. Let me read it to you. I will not act on my wrath. I will not destroy Ephraim, for I am God and not a man, the Holy One in your midst, and I will not enter a city. Whoa! God just clearly told you he is not a man. Now, this is not the first time he did so. In fact, he did this in the book of Numbers already. Numbers 23:19. God is not a man that he should lie, nor is he a mortal that he should relent. Can this get any more clear? It's so obvious God is not a man. Now, there are Christians who will come along and say that these verses just tell us about God's nature, that he is not going to lie. While it is true that God doesn't have the nature of a human being, it's also true that he's not a man. Now, to counteract this, God made sure that he included another verse that completely knocks down this missionary claim. If you go over to 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 29, it says, Netzach Yisrael lo yishaker v'lo yinachem, ki lo adam hu. The Eternal One of Israel does not lie and does not relent, because he is not a man. The entire reason for God not having the nature of a human being is because he's not a human being. God is not a man. There will be Christians who come along and say, oh, we don't actually believe that God is a man. We just believe that God clothed himself inside of the body of a man. But that's not true according to mainstream Christianity. Mainstream Christianity teaches that Jesus is a hypostatic union, that he is 100% divine and 100% man, and there is no mingling or dilution of either natures. Now, the church admits that this is the greatest leap of faith and is the greatest mystery known to humankind. It's impossible for them to rationalize this, and that's why they're asking you to believe this with faith. In order to believe in this, in order to believe that God is a man, you have to do two things. You have to believe in a theology that was invented by the church, that was not included in the Hebrew scriptures, and you have to reject the word of God that explicitly says multiple times that God is not a man. To do so is to spit in God's face. Now, if you're watching this, I assume you really want to know who God is. And we can be very thankful because God gave us a love letter. He gave us a way to get to know him. He gave us information about who he is and who he's not. And he gave us information about how to come close to him, about how to have a relationship with him. And by learning his holy words, about learning his beautiful Bible, we can do so. It's the most amazing thing. Now, as a Jewish person who speaks about Christianity, I have to say, it bothers me that I have to defile my mouth speaking about Jesus. I have to go into a very deep darkness, but I do so in order to bring you light. I pray that you come home to the God of Israel. It's so beautiful and so wonderful to have a relationship with God. But first, we have to remove the garbage. We have to get rid of that which doesn't belong. And then you can begin to understand who God truly is. And God told us he is not a man.